All right, we made it. That was a little rough landing there. This is Unadvised here on the Sports Animal YouTube, Facebook, and right here on our X account as well. Preston Poole, Tyler Adams, Teabag. I didn't know if the internet was going to let us hop on tonight, but here we are. We made it. Hope you liked our little teabag
10 out of
statue that
10.
we got working. Yeah.
10 out of 10. I when Preston texted that, I had a genuine LOL.
Yes,
I'm like,
I was
that's
just sitting
awesome.
there. I'm like, what would be a good thumbnail tonight? You know what? How about the D Wade statue with Teabag's face on it? So,
It's better
well,
looking than the actual statue. We'll talk about it later on.
yeah,
Ooh, woof.
definitely we'll get into that later because when I saw that, I was shocked to say the least the other day. But it's been what, a week since we've been on. So we've got a lot of ball to catch up. I'm just trying to retweet all this stuff so we can get some people in here and chat about all this stuff. But yeah, it's been almost a week since we've been on. Last time we were on, we talked a lot of NBA basketball. So tonight we're going to talk a little bit about everything. We're going to talk about those games that happened Saturday for Oklahoma and Oklahoma State. Not good again. Well, some good mixed in with very bad as well. So we'll get into that. We'll get into
That's where we're
the
at. That's where
yeah.
we're at with these football teams is mixing the good. This while the bad's
Yes.
happening.
So we'll get into those games. We'll do a short little preview. We'll have more on that on Thursday for the games this weekend. And we'll get into some of the other games this weekend in the NFL and in college. A little World Series talk as well. But yeah, follow us at Preston Pool 405, at Tyler's Takes, at Unadvised Pod. Yeah, let's just rip the Band-Aid off. Oklahoma travels down to Ole Miss. They lose 26-14. But Teabag, we saw signs of life in the first half on offense.
Yeah, and I don't know what it was, Preston. I don't know if it was Seth Luttrell. I don't know if it was Jackson Arnold. I
It
don't
was night and
know
day,
if
right?
those Ole
Kind of.
Miss is maybe just a little bit. I do think Ole Miss is a little bit. I don't think they're a playoff team. I think they're going to get beat once, maybe two more times. Not taken away from what OU was able to do in that first half, but I don't know what it was, but they seemed to figure something out because they were able to move the ball. And Jackson Arnold obviously is the better of the two quarterbacks. I think we can put that one to bed. I'm not going to blame what they did with the Michaels Hawkins situation because Arnold had to be benched versus Tennessee, and Hawkins, in my opinion, did have to start against Auburn, and then just kind of after that was just it is what it was at this point. So I'm not going to just rip into this coaching staff. There's other things to rip into this coaching staff for. I don't think the way they've handled quarterback, in my opinion, is something that we should criticize them too much on. But going forward, Jackson Arnold is definitely the better two quarterbacks. And my biggest takeaway, Preston, was with Jackson Arnold, you can build off that. Like if you're an offensive coordinator, whoever's going to take the offensive coordinator job, Jackson Arnold's a guy that can be your quarterback next year and you feel comfortable with that.
Yeah, and it wasn't like, I mean, he went out and made plays, right? That touchdown that he had to Jacob Jordan there towards I guess it was at the end of the first half, scrambled around, he evaded the defenders, and he got that pass complete for a touchdown. That was a big one. They took the lead heading into halftime, and then the second half happened where nothing good on offense happened. I think, Jackson Arnold got sacked like 7 or 8 times in that second half, so just reverted back to a lot of the stuff that we've seen the last couple of weeks. But the good thing is that you can look at that first half and say, hey, that offense right there was pretty good.
They did something.
Yeah, try and, build off of that, which I know I forget which lineman it was that got hurt.
Sexton.
Got hurt and, missed the rest of the game. And he was kind of big in helping that offensive line get some push there in the first half. But this is a team in Oklahoma where they took on a top 5 rushing defense last week in Ole Miss, and they ran for 147 yards. Yeah, they haven't done that at all this season, and they ran the ball well at times against Ole Miss.
Yeah, and it was great for the first half, and then that third quarter came around, man, and it got ugly.
Yeah,
they ended up giving up 10 sacks on the day. In the
after
fourth
giving
quarter,
up 9 against South Carolina the week before.
Whenever Ole Miss started climbing back and taking the lead and stuff again, you're like, all right, he's got to score here to, even if it's just a field goal, just to stay in the game, you got to go score here. And the offensive line just forgot how to block again all of a sudden, and it reverted back to what it was. But I'm going to choose to look at the positive in this game for the Sooners because we've done just so much negative around here, and we saw positive, and I just don't think we can take that away from them right now because they gave us positive, and that's all anyone's been asking for is give us something positive, and they did that. And I think with the main game coming up, and then you got the bye week, I believe, and then you got Missouri, then you got the last 3 SEC games. I think you can, or maybe the bye week's the 16th. Yeah, because OU and OC both have the same bye week. It's on the 16th. I think if you're an OU fan, as long as OU takes care of a bit of business against Maine this weekend, which they're going to. I know it's fun to joke about, like, what if they
Cross
lose?
your fingers, right?
Yeah, it's fun to joke about, but it's not Montana State. It's not North Dakota State coming in here. It's Maine. I think they could have some momentum going into Columbia, Missouri, and maybe squeak out a win.
Yeah, which Missouri team that just got their ass handed to them by
they're not
Alabama.
Good. They're not good.
Yes.
They're not good.
So that'll be interesting as we move forward. But yeah, I mean, look, there were a lot of OU fans that I saw online that were still not happy with the offense after the first half, and I'm sitting there like, what is to be mad about this offense where they just had their most productive half of football since they played Tulane? Like, come on.
I thought after that first half, I was like, oh, Seth Luttrell was that bad, and he's going to win this game. Now, I think it was a mixture of Seth Luttrell was just not any good because I don't think we see that first half if Seth Luttrell was still the offensive coordinator. But I mean, after that first half, I thought they played so good. I mean, we talked about it a little. The Jacob Jordan, his name. I keep wanting to say Jacob Johnson. Is there a Jacob Johnson out there that's famous of any?
I'm sure
there is, but I keep wanting to say Jacob Johnson. Jacob Jordan, that touchdown pass he had or catch he had, that was a great play. And when that happened, I was like, shit, he might win this game. So
there was a little glimmer of that, and then I'm also like, somehow this is going to fail miserably, and it did. But yeah, you're right. It's hard to just sit here and look at the first half, and you're sitting there watching. You're like, damn, maybe Joe John Finley does know what he's doing, right? You're watching that first half. You're like, why? Like, are they using the same guys that they just had like the last 5 weeks, or 4 weeks?
The tight end started good. The tight end started good, and then they resorted back to what they were as well.
Yeah. Yes, very much. Although Bauer Sharp, he's probably not an Oklahoma caliber player, right? I think we can all agree on that. He did have some decent plays against Ole Miss. He had that toe tap touchdown there early in the game, and then he had some passes that he caught, but he did have some that he dropped. So I'm sure he's a great kid, just probably not Oklahoma caliber football player. That's all right. Sometimes you swing it and you miss, but you can't do that too often. And they've done
Why aren't they playing another tight end? Well, Bauer Sharp's the best they have right now. So
they don't have any. And the other one that they have that they recruited that was a 5-star should be a senior in high school right now. And I think from what I understand has some growing to do, which sounds like he's doing, but he's 17. He's not really supposed to be in college right now.
Yeah, he's not the Alabama kid, Ryan Williams.
Yeah, exactly.
Not everyone is that.
Yeah. In that first half also, I thought Ole Miss helped them tremendously with the dumb penalties that they were getting. And look, I called a high school football game Friday night. It was a big-time matchup, Blanchard versus Tuttle. So it's a rivalry game, right? And there was a lot of fighting. You imagine a high school rivalry game, there's going to be some fighting between the players, right? There was a lot. And I still think that Ole Miss is more undisciplined than those two football teams that I called on Friday night. It was just dumb penalties.
That was another thing in the first half with OU moving the ball is they were moving the ball when they were running like actual plays and stuff.
Yeah.
Ole Miss was giving them a lot of help as well because of just the dumb penalties that they're giving them.
Yeah, for sure. So overall, I put on here on our sheet, good thing. There were good things, but there were a lot of bad things as well.
Yeah.
So some stuff that you can look on to improve from, and some stuff where you're like, let's probably not try and do that again. As far as Maine goes, short little preview. Yeah, they should win by 40. 3 touchdowns or plus, something like that. Yeah.
They should win by 40. I mean, they beat Temple 59-3.
Yeah. So they should be able to win win this ball game. And maybe we'll see if some of the guys can get healthy or if they hold them off until the next week. Speaking of guys like Deion Burks or something like that. So we'll see. Now let's head down to probably the worst city in Texas. That's Waco. Wacko. The river smells. So does the stadium. Nice stadium. I will say one thing about it. Nice
Off
stadium.
a highway though, which isn't cool.
Yeah, right off the highway. It's a little weird. Have you been there before?
I've driven by it.
Okay, so
I've met
I went to a game there. It's a nice little stadium, but everyone's a little stuck up there. That's what I'll say about Baylor. OSU loses 28-38. And look, T-Bag, I know you're going to have a lot more thoughts on this, but you can't let a team that doesn't run the football run the ball for 343 yards. Can't let that happen.
this run defense is so pathetically bad. I mean, it's just we can sit and talk about it all night long, kind of thing, and I would love to just to admit to these guys, but I mean, it is what it is at this point. They're bad. They don't tackle. They don't hit. They're on quit watch, Preston. They're definitely on quit watch. There's a lot of
we
videos
did
going
the
around of
post
guys
game
jogging.
with Robert Jones was on the post game after the game, and he's like, "These dudes look like they've quit." And for a guy that coaches football and is a good head coach in the Oklahoma high school ranks, to say that about his alma mater, that's pretty scary. That he's going out there and saying that it looks like the players are just quitting.
So I was at a wedding on Saturday, and I was watching the game during the ceremony. I admitted it to the bride and groom. I was like, I'm sorry, I love you guys. I was paying attention, but at the same time, OC football was in a 3-point game,
Close one in Waco.
Whenever that running back, whatever his name is, broke those like 3 tackles, like that three guys on him, he just walked right through it like it was nothing. He didn't have to fight for it. He was just able to get through it. He was shocked himself when he made it through. He's like, oh my God, I got nothing but green ahead of me. And when that happened, I genuinely got in such a bad mood for about 5 minutes.
You had not to walk away from everyone.
And it wasn't because OSU lost. It was just like, are we serious? Are we serious? You have 3 guys wrapped up on this guy with the game. I know it was first or second down, whatever it was. It wasn't that play was the ball game, the touchdown sealed the deal. It's not like that certain play was 4th down or something, and you had to give max effort. But it's like, are we serious here? You have to get one stop to give the ball back to your offense to try and win the game, and that is the effort you put out. It's pathetic. It is absolutely pathetic. People need to be held accountable for this. Gundy, I'm not calling for Gundy's head. I won't call for Gundy's head this year, even if they go 3-9. I'm not to that stage yet. But people have to be held accountable for this. Defensive coordinators are getting fired left and right now. Offensive coordinators are getting fired left and right. I don't like calling for people's jobs. I used to be the guy that called for people's jobs. I do it, but I don't like doing it. I don't like doing it, but I'll do it. Brian Arnold's going to be fine. He's going to get $2 million. He's going to get another Division I, position group, making 6 figures a year.
Is he going to get another job in D1, or is
he'll get a position group job when you're Division I defensive coordinator with some experience. I think that could happen. Now, is it going to be Alabama? No, but North Texas or something? Sure, why not? He's going to be fine. Plus, even if he doesn't, he's going to get millions of dollars on his way out the door. It's just, how are you just still just looking at this and just saying, like, Nardo's doing fine? Getty said that yesterday at the press conference. Like, maybe the scheme is fine, but the way they're executing the scheme is not fine. That comes back to coaching. You can have the guys lined up in the right place. Sure, great. But when the game is actually needing to be executed, you can't do it. And the offense, the run game is just, it just is what it is. It's not great. It's not what it was last year, obviously. But Brennan Presley, God love Brennan Presley. I mean, he's going to be a fringe Ring of Honor guy one day. I mean, he's going to be the all-time receptions leader. He's got one of the most, impactful plays in Oklahoma State history with the Bedlam kick return in 21. I mean, he's an Oklahoma State legend, and he's going to be a fringe Ring of Honor guy, and he's a fan favorite. And God bless him, because he had a career day on Saturday. And then Gundy said, on one of his shows, I don't think it was a press conference, it was just one of those like podcasts he does with Hunziker, said Presley came in after the game and they decided to grade film together. And that's the kind of leadership that Brennan Presley has. So God love him. God bless the offense, because they're at least still trying. They're not in a game, they're at least still trying. The defense is just full on quit. And I don't care about injuries because injuries happen in football. That's the game of football. If you expect to go all 22 starters to stay healthy throughout the season, guess what? That's not going to happen. Yeah, it sucks. Would the defense be better with Colin Oliver and Nick Martin? Yes, obviously, but you have to be able to just work around that. That's football, and it's just terrible. And this Saturday is Preston. It's going to be a long, 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 long Saturday. It's going to be a short game because Arizona State's going to be able to control the clock with Cam Scattaboo. He's going to go for I'm going to say he's going to go for 200 yards. And I'm not trying to be funny. I'm not trying to be facetious. He's going to go for 200 yards. He loves contact. He loves hitting guys, and he's just going to have a field day. He's going to have so much fun on Saturday playing against this Oklahoma State defense. They're going to control the clock. They're going to whip up on OSU. I don't really see a way OSU could win this game with Cam Scattaboo back there and the way they can run the football. It's bad. It's bad right now. There's no sign of the future. There's no young guys you look at. I mean, Rodney Fields looks pretty good, the true freshman running back. Coach Robert Jones, coached him at Del City. He looks like he could be a pretty decent player. But other than that, I mean, there's Talon Shetron, Josh Ford. I mean, there's a couple offensive weapons that they're like, okay, they're pretty decent. But I would say like 3 or 4 guys. There's nothing. We don't know what Zane Flores is yet. I mean, we all hope he's going to be good. We all think he can be good. We've all heard he's going to be good. But we don't know what he's going to be yet. If he doesn't have an offensive line, it's not going to matter. As we see this year with OU, it doesn't matter what you do if you have a bad offensive line. It's becoming dark days in Stillwater, and the fan base is getting very toxic too. And the Oklahoma State fan base is just such a weird place because you'll be like, it's not the 90s anymore. It's like, no crap, it's not the 90s anymore. Well, Boone did all this. It's like, no, Boone made it possible. Gundy made it happen. Like, both things are true. Like, let's take a deep breath and take a step back and let's look at this. And their Twitter rumors just fly everywhere. Like, the new Twitter rumors, Gundy's going to extend Casey Dunn. It's like, am I going to be shocked if he keeps Casey Dunn? No. Am I going to be shocked if he extends Casey Dunn? Yeah. Like, if Gundy does that, then no one should renew their season tickets. It's going to be that simple. Just, if you want to make a stand, stop going on freaking Twitter and just want to, fire everyone to the moon. Like, do something about it. Like, there's ways you can affect this. You can donate more to NIL. You can donate less to NIL. You cannot renew your season tickets. I don't think you should do that because I think if you're committed to the program, you're committed to the university, you shouldn't do that. I'm still going to be showing up every single game, my orange and black. I'm allowed to get mad. I'm going to get mad. I'm going to rip into them. But Jesus Christ, fans, let's take a breath here. And we've been pretty damn spoiled. Oklahoma State has been pretty damn spoiled in the grand scheme of things for the last 20 years under Mike Gundy. Pretty spoiled. It's the best 2-decade stretch of Oklahoma State football ever. Not even close. Not a losing season since 2005. That's going to happen this year. They're going to have a losing season this year. But everyone needs to take just a deep breath. I understand the frustration. I'm frustrated too. I want change too. I get all this. But everyone needs to calm down and just take a deep breath and just let's not get our emotions get the best of us. I see people fighting on Twitter now. I see a civil war amongst the Oklahoma State fan base. It's just dark days, and I'm just venting my way through it at this point.
I mean, look, I completely get it. These are the numbers for Baylor rushing this past weekend. Dawson Pendergrass, 6 carries, 142 yards and a touchdown. Bryson Washington, 7 carries, 78 yards. Sawyer Robinson, 8 for 73 and a touchdown. And Richard Reese, 6 for 52. So, I mean, everyone that ran the ball got at least 52 yards.
That's bad.
Yeah.
That's really bad. I'm looking up Cam Scattaboo's stats real quick so we just read these off.
And I agree with you with Brendan Presley.
I was going to say statistically.
Go ahead.
I was going to say Oklahoma State statistically right now has the second worst defense in the country behind Kent State. So
yeah, it's not good. And I agree with you on Brendan Presley. I was watching him in that game, and I was like, this guy's going to be a good NFL player. I think he's going to find a good fit on some roster, being like a speed guy for them. I think he's
his size his size going to be an issue, but he just finds a way to get open. Like, it doesn't
matter. I mean, and that's all that matters, right? The NFL anymore, it literally does not. Who cares about that?
I mean, he's played elite talent. Like, he's played very elite talent.
Yeah.
And I mean, yeah, he hasn't played at Georgia or anything, but he's played at Notre Dame. He's played at Oklahoma. He's played at Texas, and he finds ways to get open. So Cam Scattaboo. 2 weeks together, coming off a bye week this week. He had an average game, 17 yards, 75 yards. Utah, 158 yards. KU, 182 yards, 60 yards, 62 yards, 262 yards, and 49 yards. But he only played about half the game against Wyoming in that first game. So he's going to have a field day against Oklahoma State. He's going to have his career high or his season high rushing yards, is my prediction.
Yeah, come Sunday morning.
I don't know if we'll get 262. He could, though.
Should be interesting. All right, let's move on to some other college football from this last weekend. Number 4, Ohio State in a close one against Nebraska. They win 28-17. Did you get a chance to watch any of that one?
Yeah, I was watching it kind of with my other eye, because I had my main eyes focused on the OU game, but I was able to watch that one. Don't really, have much to say about it. Ohio State, I think it could have been a minor look-ahead game for Penn State this week.
That's
I know
big
Nebraska, they're better, but I think it could have been a minor look ahead. I'm not going to read too much into it. I still think Ohio State's a really good football team, but I think Nebraska's, just heading in the right direction right now.
I agree with you. How about number 5, Texas sneaking past Vanderbilt, 27 to 24. Them Commodores.
I didn't see any of this game. I didn't see any of it.
I mean, Vanderbilt kept it close and just kept scoring on them. Texas would score, Vanderbilt would score. But I don't know if I was ever afraid that Texas was going to lose. It would have been a Longhorn fan. In that one. And then the big one of the night, number 14 A&M beats number 8 LSU 38-23. Has Mike Elko changed the Aggies?
Absolutely, 100%. Because I think at worst this year they're going to go 9-3. I mean, they're 7-1 right now, something like that.
Yeah.
And so I think at worst they're going 9-3. Texas, then maybe they split between Auburn and South
Well, and their
Carolina.
only loss is Notre Dame. So
their only loss is Notre Dame.
Bad loss.
Yeah, I mean, I think Texas A&M. I didn't think they'd be like this good, but Texas A&M was one of my sleeper teams in the SEC this year. I think Elko's just gone in there, and I don't know this because we haven't heard anything on it. I'm sure maybe in Aggie land there's been talk of it. I think he might have just been. I think he's just one of those guys that went in there, and when he got the job, he's like, "Look, if we want to win, you guys need to stay away." Talking to the boosters and stuff, please keep giving us your money. We're gonna give you guys, all the access you want in the world, but when it comes to the opinions of football and stuff, let us do our job and watch what happens. And I think they've listened because they looked really good. I did go back and watch the second half of this game. I actually watched it yesterday at work, just out on my computer and just watched a lot of the second half. Once Marcel Reed came in there, it was just a completely different game.
Yeah.
Texas A&M just running it down their throat. Marcel Reed was just able to do read options all game long, RPOs all game long. Once he got in the game, it wasn't even close about who the better team was.
Yeah, 100%. I was just going to bring up Reed. He looks like a pretty good young quarterback there for A&M. Let's see what else we got here. Anything else in college football before we get to the NFL?
I think we covered it.
All
Missouri
right.
sucks. We've already talked about it. Missouri's not any good.
Yes, that should be an interesting matchup here in a couple of weeks in Columbia, Missouri. All right, in the NFL, obviously the big story, we're going to talk about it. We have to talk about it, is Jaden Daniels throws one of the best Hail Marys that I think I've seen and somehow scores a touchdown in the final seconds to beat your Chicago Bears. Pain is all that you know in college or in football right now.
So I fell asleep in the second. I watched the first quarter and fell asleep in the second and third quarter. Woke up with it was 14:30 in the fourth quarter. And,
well, the good thing is you saw the best part of the Bears.
Yeah. And so I texted my friend who's a Bears fan. I said, I fell asleep. How's Caleb looking? And he said, not good. I was like, crap. I start watching and Caleb Williams starts looking really good. He starts playing his best football in the fourth quarter, which is the one good takeaway where it's like that game hurt. That was one of the more painful Bears losses I can remember in the last couple of years. I mean, they haven't been that good, but that was a very, very hurt.
Sorry, right now in the World Series, we have Mookie Betts trying to make a catch in foul territory and the Yankees fans interfering. So we've got an argument between Mookie Betts and Yankee fans right now. So, but anyways, continue on the Bears.
And so the
Oh
one
wait,
positive,
the fan tried to rip the ball out of Mookie's glove. I've never seen that.
I just put
He's
it on.
like,
I saw that.
that
Dodgers
is
already up
crazy.
2-0. Dude,
It's like
Yankees are.
holding him up on the wall too. That Yankees fans, come on. We'll chat more about this World Series here in a little bit, but the Bears.
Yeah, I mean, Caleb. The one positive I'm gonna take away is Caleb played his best ball in the fourth quarter. He struggled for 3 quarters, and he did. You would love to see it for all 4 quarters, obviously, but that's not gonna happen every game in the NFL. It's just not.
Yeah.
I mean, it happens to Mahomes sometimes. Like you just don't look good for 3 quarters, but when you need to step up, you can step up. And he he led the Bears on one. Okay, Caleb Williams looked good in the fourth quarter. I'm not gonna spit. This isn't about Caleb Williams right now. This game isn't a Caleb Williams issue. The issue was you get the ball on the 1 yard line and you hand it off to your backup center, who's played
Worst
full
play
back.
ever. Yeah.
You try to get cute in the absolute moment you don't want to get cute with. Uh, you hand it off to Daryl, whatever his name is. You hand it off to him, and he's coming and played some fullback a little for the Bears and been like short yard, lead blocker and stuff. But they decided to hand
Yeah.
it off to him. He fumbles. Can't really blame him all too much because it's like, dude, he's not a running
No,
back.
you have to blame like
Roshan Johnson
Eberflus
back
or
there.
someone. Yeah.
Can't. It's just that was just terrible. And then you got the 15 yards that they gave the Commanders right before the Hail Mary. They weren't playing up; they were playing back. And then Eberflus said after the game, "Oh, that didn't matter." Yeah, it did, because that ball was already short. It got tipped up. Luckily, the ball's already short. If it was 15 yards more back, the ball is going to be landing on the 15-yard line. Maybe you can try to wrap up and tackle, which just makes it easier for everyone in that situation. And then you got the Tyreek Johnson situation, which was just absolutely terrible. And everyone's like, "Oh, they need to come. They need to come." No, they can't come because he's a really good player. Like he's very
That's the
important
defensive
to that secondary.
back.
Yeah, he's very important to that
Yeah.
secondary. He's
Most
a good player.
bonehead thing ever.
Just everything about it was just so typical Bears. And it's going to be one of those games, Preston, where that could be the difference of them winning 8 games and 10 games or 9 games and 11 games. I mean, that could be the difference because that's just such a momentum killer. And in the NFL, the Bears should have never really, the Bears played terrible, and we're going to find a way to win a game that they shouldn't have necessarily won because of how bad they played. And that's what you're going to do in the NFL. Like sometimes you just play bad, but you got to find a way to win in the end, and that's what the Bears are doing. And it just felt like, oh my gosh, the culture is completely changing around here. Usually, once the Bears were dead, they were just dead the entire fourth quarter. But they found life in the fourth quarter. They were able to come back, and they couldn't do it. And it's just typical freaking Bears.
Yeah, I was watching the end of that game, and they score, and I'm like, wow, they're going to win. There was 23 seconds left in the clock or something like that.
Yeah.
And then I look away for a second, and I see all the Commanders players on the field like screaming and cheering and all that, and I'm like, oh my god! And I see the replay. I'm like, there's no way that just happened. And then obviously all the Bears fans on X and all that stuff were not happy. The Commanders fans were going crazy. So it's one of the more wild innings to a football game that I've seen in a long time.
It's losing football games sucks. Like when your team loses, it just sucks. The worst way to lose is when you're in shock for like 10 minutes after.
Yeah.
Like you're just like, no way. Like no, that didn't happen.
Maybe
like,
if I refresh it, like it didn't actually
where's
happen.
The flag? Like, come on, where's the flag? His foot, even though he's clearly all the way in bounds, like he was never even close to being out of bounds. But like maybe his foot was, maybe he ran out of bounds before or something. I don't know. I was literally in shock for like 10 minutes. I didn't accept it, and then finally I just shut my laptop and
moved on.
But I was watching the Thunder game because the Thunder game was going on like at the same time.
Yeah.
And I was literally just like watching the Thunder game. My roommate like made a comment in the Thunder game. I was like, "What?" And he's like, "Did you not see that play?" And I was like, "No." He goes, "You're watching?" Because like my eyes, like I wasn't on my phone. My eyes, like, you think I'm like actually paying attention to what's going on right now, dude? Like
going through all the Rolodex of thoughts that you have in your head.
My brain is all over the place. Like I am just looking at the TV. I'm not paying attention to the TV.
Yeah, that was something else for sure. All right, how about the Ravens losing to the Browns? Jameis Winston comes in, and ultimate locker room guy. First of all, Jameis Winston is. He comes in and he beats Lamar and the Ravens 29-24. Did you get to watch any of that?
Yeah, I did. Jameis Winston's the best. His pregame interview, his pregame huddle interview, and his postgame interview were just all the way Jameis Winston.
Yeah.
Did you hear the decal one?
I did not see that one. No.
He was talking to the offensive line before they're about to take the field for warm-ups, and he's like, play for the name on the back of your jersey and play for the decal on your helmet. And he goes, well, we don't have decals on our helmets. Just typical Jameis Winston. Then his
He's
Eminem
awesome.
reference, the white boy in Detroit, you only got one shot, so don't miss your chance to blow it or whatever it
Yeah.
is. He mentioned that at the end of the game. It was just fantastic. And it was just the ultimate Jameis Winston experience where he almost threw the interception to Kyle Hamilton and said, screw it. Next play, I'm going to throw a 38-yard bomb down the field.
And I was so mad because I was like, if there's one guy you want to like bet every week to throw like an interception in the game that they play, it's Jameis Winston.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think he threw an interception. So it was a good game for Jameis Winston in his first start in Cleveland. It turns out Deshaun Watson was every single problem that the Bears or the Browns had. Yeah, he is terrible.
Yeah.
All right, how about the Jets? How far have the Jets fallen? They lose to the Patriots 25-22. Aaron Rodgers is just old. I mean, he needs to retire after this year. He's just old.
Yeah, and they're not any good. I bet 9.5 under with the Jets because I thought it was just the easiest bet ever because there was toxicity before the season started with Aaron Rodgers saying stuff, potentially running for JFK's or RFK, not JFK, RFK's VP. Just all the stuff about it was just like, this does not smell like a good football team. And that under 9.5 is going to be a very easy winner when the season's over.
Nice and easy.
So yeah, the Jets, I mean, they're going to go back to irrelevancy. I mean, they are back at irrelevancy. The only thing keeping them relevant right now is the fact that Aaron Rodgers is their quarterback.
Yeah, and I would say that they're a quarterback away from being good. It is the issue because they've got the skill players with Devontae Adams now, Garrett Wilson. You got Breece Hall at your tailback. Probably need a better defense. What's their defense? I mean, they've got some guys on their defense. It's just probably offensive line and quarterback is definitely what those guys need. But all right, how about the Sunday night game between the Cowboys and the 49ers? 49ers win that one 30-24, even though they're banged up. Jordan Mason gets hurt in that one. Thank God though that it was National Tight Ends Day because Kittle had I think 2 touchdowns in that one, and the Niners find a way to win it.
I kind of thought the Cowboys were alive in this game, and I was dead wrong. The Cowboys are just terrible. They just are not.
Yeah, they're awful.
Aren't good at all. They're awful. Really bad. No running game. Their defense is taking a step back. Their offensive line isn't what it was. Dak is Dak. That's Cowboy summary. They're going to have to fire McCarthy at the end of the year. That's for sure.
Yeah, they're going to have to do something. I mean, you can't throw it to CeeDee Lamb every time. He had 13 catches out of the team's 25 receptions. He had 146 yards and 2 touchdowns. So not really the only bright spot if you're a Cowboys fan so far in that one. And then how about the Steelers and Russ? Danger Russ. Is he finally back to being good, or are we going to give it a couple more weeks?
I think he might be. I think he was broken in Denver with the Nathaniel Hackett experience. And then Sean, I don't think he can handle the criticism that Sean Payton puts onto his players and stuff. I don't think Russ is just kind of like built like that. I think he's just kind of like mentally semi-weak to a degree. And he's found a new spark in Pittsburgh. I mean, he's not, 2015 Russell Wilson or anything, 2016 Russell Wilson, but I think he's a pretty good quarterback. He's better than Justin Fields right now. Justin Fields led them to 4-2. So Steelers are very much alive to be a playoff threat. I don't think they're an AFC threat, but I think they're going to be a threat to whoever they play in the playoffs.
Yeah, I bet George Pickens is just loving Russell Wilson because that's a guy where we can tell that he's a talented wide receiver. The issue is having a quarterback that could get him the ball, and he hadn't had that yet in the NFL. Now that he does, I think he had 2 touchdowns called back last night too, which I was mad at because they're on my fantasy team. So. Yeah, I mean the Steelers. We'll see how they can keep going there with Russell Wilson. All right, let's get into a little NBA talk. We did mention a little bit about those Thunder, the Thunder 3-0 start, best start since 2016. Chet Holmgren has he been the best player so far this season?
Yeah. I mean, like Shea's obviously Shea's obviously the superstar, and he's going to be the best player, by the time. But through the 3 games, I mean, Chet's averaging like 23 and 15 rebounds or whatever it is. He's playing amazing. He's playing great defense. He just seems like he's taken the extra step. And Preston, we kept talking about most improved players. Me and you talked about it. Everyone in media has been talking about the most improved players with Thunder, and J-Dub was like the name everyone brought up, and we all forgot about Chet Holmgren and the step he's going to take this year, and he's been playing fantastic. Shut up, Griffin.
I was like, who is that? I'm guessing that is
He's
one
about
of
fantasy league. Yeah.
Look, I'll attest that
I'm like 6-2 in the fantasy. Shut up.
He's decent in our sports animal league. Definitely better than I am this year. I think I'm about.
Don't mention my college league where I'm like 1-8. We don't need to talk about that.
Yeah, the Thunder. I mean, Chet. J-Dub's obviously off to a somewhat slow start. He's had 20 points though in back-to-back games. Really, the Thunder in 2 back-to-back games have had 3 guys go for 20 plus. Shea, Dub, and Chet. The last 2 games have each had 20 plus points. So I think the offense is going to come around for them. Right, they've only played 3 games. They've got 79 more to go, or 78, whatever that math is. But that's going to come around. They shot better on Sunday against the Atlanta Hawks. I think they shot somewhere just below 40% from 3 in that one. So that's going to come around. And the defense, though, is what sticks out. We knew it was going to be the best defensive team in the league, heading into the season, T-Bag, but I don't know if we knew it was going to be as good as what it's been so far.
And they don't have Hartenstein yet.
Exactly. And Alex Caruso, adding him, look, he can go the whole season without making a bucket, but he's still going to make a positive impact in whatever lineup he plays in because he's just that good at defense. I mean, the guy's had, he has 3 or 4 points on the entire season, but
5.
He's been 5 points. He's been a plus every single time he's been out on the
floor. He
floor.
leads the team in plus minus at plus 38.
Yeah, which is crazy.
And he has 5 points.
Yeah.
I mean, he's been fantastic. This team, Sunday against the Hawks, they were just kind of, just playing around. Then, kind of when that third quarter hit, they're like, all right, we're done playing games. And Trae Young couldn't do anything. You're throwing Caruso on him. You're throwing Wallace on him. You're throwing Dort on him.
You even think the end of the first half, they go on a run. Was a 10-point run to be down by 1 to close out the first half.
Was where I was blurred out.
Yeah, and
I was focused on the Bears.
Yeah. And then, like you mentioned, especially in that fourth quarter, or early in that fourth quarter, they step on the gas and they lock him down defensively. Case and Wallace, shutting down Trae Young in the closing minutes of the game is something that I didn't. I expected eventually we would see it. I didn't know if we would see it this early in the season, right? That Kaysen would have made such a leap defensively and stuff like that, which he's fantastic on defense. So yeah, you got to be pretty pleased if you're a Thunder fan. How about AJ Mitchell getting some runs, some meaningful minutes here early in the season? I know there's a couple injuries, obviously, but for him as a rookie, he's a 2-way guard, so 2-way player on this contract. So to see him get as many minutes as and it's not like a whole bunch, but to see him get the minutes he has so far has been pretty interesting.
Yeah, he's been pretty good in those minutes, especially on the defensive end. Preston, this team hasn't even played their best game at all yet, and they're still winning games by 15, 20 points in the first 3 games.
Yeah.
And they haven't played their best ball at all. They're not shooting good, but their defense is just that elite that it can win them games even if they don't play well on offense.
Yeah, I'm going to check the standings. I know they're the number 1 seed in the West already. They're the only undefeated team in the Western Conference. There's 3 total undefeated teams: the Cavs and Celtics, and then the Thunder at 3-0, and then they play tomorrow night against Wemby. That'll be a fun matchup in Oklahoma City. So go check that out. As I mentioned, best defense in the league. They might start a different starting lineup like every night. I'm not quite sure on that. We'll see.
It's gonna. And then it might be hard. Who knows what it's going to be like? I think
I bet it is probably. It might be the end of December, January before we see the same lineup 2 games in a row.
I think like it's like the new year is like whatever we're going to be. All right, this is going to be the lineup. I think it's still going to be Caruso, but with the way he can impact that bench, I think it's going to be hard to keep him off. or
Yeah, for
on the
sure.
starting lineup, I guess.
Yeah. As we mentioned, they play tomorrow night against the Spurs, and then they've got a West Coast trip Friday and Saturday this weekend. So there'll be some late games there, but you'll get an ESPN game tomorrow for the Spurs and the Thunder in Oklahoma City. Some other news today involving a Thunder player. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is going to be in the next season of Starting Five on Netflix. Have you watched the season that dropped a couple of weeks ago?
I haven't. Have you?
I have not. I've decided I'm now going to hold out, and the first season that I watch will be next season
I'm with you.
with Shai.
I'm with you. I saw that and I got super excited. I'm already excited for that because they're filming it this season. So what if this season is a magical season we think it could be, and we get to watch that, just the ride that Shai
Oh, yeah.
takes throughout the year. So I'm very excited. I'm very excited for that one to drop.
Yeah, hopefully, like maybe some audio from the station gets sneaked into that as well. That would be pretty cool. All right, enough of the Thunder. Some other NBA, and by other NBA, I just want to talk about the D Wade statue because we're sitting up there. I think it dropped Sunday evening. We're sitting up there for getting ready for the Thunder game, and it comes across Twitter, and I'm like, no, they did not do this to him. Somewhere in the last, I don't know, 1,500 to 2,000 years, Teabag, we have lost the ability to make a statue because every
Go back to
single
marble.
sports, yeah, exactly, every single sports statue that is dropped in the last 20 years, maybe something like that, and you can kind of really include OU because the Baker Mayfield one and Patty Gasso. But this is just egregious. That's not Dwayne Wade. That face is
No.
not Dwayne Wade.
Yeah, there's been some really bad statues. The Selman brothers at OU is good. The Stoops one at OU is good. The Boone Pickens one at OSU is good, but the Barry Sanders one at OSU is not good.
Yeah.
The Barry Sanders one in Detroit is awesome. But that's it.
And well, Dirk in
of.
Dallas is
Dirk's
a good
Kobe's
one.
good.
Michael Jordan, like those are all good ones. And then you roll
there's
this
some
one out.
bad ones too.
Yes.
There's some
like
egregiously bad
Ronaldo
ones.
a couple years ago.
And
they had to remake that.
Supposedly D Wade signed off on this.
There's no way that he saw that first and he's like, okay, yeah, that's good to go. I'd be like, no, we have to change the face.
You would think.
Yeah, and then the funniest, and the statue looked terrible, but the funniest part was the makers of the statue did like a post game interview
Yeah.
with the media. I'm like, never have I ever seen the statue makers sit in front of the media to do a post game statue reveal. That was just insane to me.
I don't know. I mean, that's gonna be a meme forever. It's gonna be a meme forever.
Yes.
I mean, we've already memed it for our show.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna pop that up real quick for the people that didn't see it. This is Teabag as the Dwayne Wade statue.
And it looks better.
Yes. So that I saw that and I'm like, yeah, we got to do that. So we do that. Yeah, terrible statue. Sorry, Miami, but it's just not good. All right, let's get into a little baseball before we wrap this up. The World Series. Have you watched any of it? Obviously, game one, we had the grand slam by
Awesome
Freddie
moment.
Freeman. Really, and including tonight, Freeman's hit a home run in the last 4 games.
He's hit a home run tonight too.
Yeah, he hit a 2-run home run.
He's
tonight.
MVP. He's MVP.
Oh,
so
yeah.
that means in his last 6 games, because his last 2 with the Braves.
Yeah, with the Braves, yeah, he hit home runs as well.
Yeah. So his last 6 World Series games, he's hit a home run. So
this is crazy.
Whew, that's nuts. Yeah, man, the Yankees, I mean, Aaron Judge just has not performed. I mean, he looked like he might have started performing a little bit better in the ALCS and the ALDS, but just overall just has not performed at all.
And how do you – sorry to interrupt you, but how in the hell do you send Giancarlo Stanton
oh, my God, he's so
from
slow.
second to home? I mean, the dude was running like he had a 18-wheeler trailer hooked up back behind him.
I remember watching. I was like, "He's so slow. He's so slow." Yeah. And then I saw you see the ball like literally just catching up to him. It's like he's out. Like he's gonna get out.
Never a doubt in my mind that he was going to be hosed by a mile, and he was.
Oh my gosh, yeah. I don't know
that's questionable, but
thinking that
if I wanted any outcome in this series, it was one of the 2 teams to get swept because I don't like either team. So for it to be the Yankees, honestly, might be the best outcome of them getting swept. So
Yankees fans are more insufferable than Dodgers fans too.
That is true. That is very. I mean, we literally just saw them try and rip a ball out of Mookie Betts' glove.
Yeah.
Like holding him up on the fence. So
And they're all like, well, my grandma like lived in Staten Island, for like 3 years when she immigrated here from Ireland. So that's why I'm a Yankees fan. That was back in 1939. It's like,
yeah,
that's why you're a Yankees fan. Like, come on, that's the reason.
Yes, for sure. And then we had here in Oklahoma City a new name for our baseball team here, the Oklahoma City Comets. At first, I was like, I don't know. Like I have the 89ers hat here. I like the 89ers, but once I saw the astronaut logo that they have, I was immediately sold because that astronaut is pretty slick.
Yeah, me and you have already said we're going to buy the helmet. Payday is tomorrow for Cumulus Media.
Yeah.
So that might be getting ordered in the morning. Yeah, I was like you. I wasn't the biggest fan at first, but I saw that logo and it's kind of grown on me since. I like it. It's not my first choice and stuff, but it's definitely grown on me to where I don't despise it.
Yeah, 100%. So, we'll see once they start dropping some more of their stuff. I know there's only been I think if you go to their website, there's a lot of stuff, but or you can just swing by the team store. So, yeah, the Oklahoma City Comets, the Thirsty Thursdays or whatever, the
Are they
$2
still a
Thursdays.
Dodger affiliate?
Yes, I believe so. They were just trying to
Just
change the
rebranding.
name.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I don't mind them changing from the Dodgers. Like
I don't
I'd
either.
rather not
Yeah.
be the Dodgers. There's already
Honestly,
Dodgers.
yes. Obviously, growing up, Red Hawks, that was elite.
Mhm.
I'm trying to think. They had obviously I think it's just been Red Hawks and Dodgers since I've been going to
Yeah.
games. So that's all I've known. But yeah, we'll see how that goes and maybe get out to some games this summer out in Bricktown. But other than that, you got anything else before we sign off? We'll be back on Halloween. Unfortunately, I'm not going to dress up. Teabag, if you want to dress up in a Halloween costume, feel more than Mary. But I'm not a person that dresses up.
I just remembered Thursday was Halloween. This should be a conversation for off air. I'm not going to be available on
Okay.
Thursday.
Well, then we will be back on Sunday.
I am having to play dad duty with my cousins and go trick or treating with them.
Okay. Well, look,
when I say I have to, like I don't. It's not a chore. I'm very excited to go do that with them.
Well, then we will request a video of you in character of some sorts on Twitter. Fair enough. Neither am I. I don't like getting dressed up. So we will be back on Sunday.
I will say, I don't. Not this isn't political. I guess it's just it's not. I like I said, I had a wedding on Saturday, and we went out to the bars after, and everyone's dressed up for Halloween. At the bars on Saturday night, and I had someone come up to me because I was wearing a suit and just said, "Are you JD Vance?" And I was like, "No, I'm Tyler Adams, just dressed as myself." He's like, "You look a lot alike him," and I was like, "I've gotten that." So
got the red tie.
Yeah.
And
So that was my Halloween costume this year. I was vice presidential candidate JD Vance.
There you go. Early voting starts tomorrow in Oklahoma, so get out and use your right to vote. We're not going to tell you who to vote for, but get out and use your right to vote. All right, that's going to do it for us. We'll be back on Sunday this week to recap a weekend of football. We'll even recap the week of Thunder basketball because they have 3 games coming up this week. But until then, we will see you guys later. Have a good one, everyone.